The Galactic Council convened in a grand chamber that shimmered with light from distant stars. Representatives from various alien species sat at a large oval table, each displaying unique features and colors that reflected their homeworlds. The air buzzed with tension as Councillor Vornax, a towering figure with deep blue skin and glowing eyes, rose to address the assembly. Friends and allies, Vornax began, his voice booming. We face a grave threat. Earth, a primitive planet, has made astonishing technological advancements. We cannot allow humanity to become a danger to our galaxy. Murmurs spread through the council. Councillor Xena, a delicate being with iridescent wings, raised her hand to speak. But are we certain they pose a threat? Humanity has shown creativity and resilience. Instead of fear, we should seek understanding. Her voice was calm, yet firm, echoing a belief that many still held. Vornax slammed his fist on the table, making a few councillors jump. Understanding. You think they will share their secrets with us. They are a species born from war. We cannot be naive. Commander Jack Taylor, Earth's representative, listened intently. He was a tall, strong man with a confident stance. Despite the seriousness of the meeting, he felt a twinge of frustration at the Council's misunderstanding of humanity. He stood up, his blue eyes focused on the councillors. With all due respect, Councillor Vornax, humanity has a history of overcoming great odds. We have learned from our mistakes. We do not wish to invade or conquer. We seek to explore and coexist. Vornax scoffed. Coexistence. Tell that to the countless species your kind has wiped out in the name of progress. You cannot be trusted. The tension in the room thickened. Several council members exchanged worried glances, unsure of what direction this meeting would take. A councillor from the insectoid species clicked his mandibles in agitation, while another, a reptilian creature, hissed softly. Just then, a holographic display flickered to life above the table, showing a series of images from Earth's recent achievements. Advanced spacecraft, new weapons technology, and impressive robotics. The room fell silent as the reality of Earth's advancements sank in. The final image showed a massive missile launching into space, designed to carry human beings beyond their home planet. That is what they are capable of, Vornax declared, his voice rising again. They must be stopped before it is too late. Jack felt a surge of determination. If we are to be judged for our past, then let us prove ourselves through our actions. We have the power to forge a new path, one of peace and cooperation. As the debate continued, a flicker of light from the edge of the display caught everyone's attention. The councillors turned to see a strange, pulsating signal coming from deep space. It was an unfamiliar frequency, one that none could identify. What is that? Xena whispered, her wings fluttering with curiosity. Vornax's expression shifted from anger to concern. We must investigate this immediately. If it is a new threat, we cannot be caught off guard. Humanity may be our only hope. The room erupted in discussion as the councillors began to argue over the next steps. Jack leaned back, his mind racing. The Galactic Council may have been alarmed, but humanity was more than ready to rise to the occasion. Little did they know, the true test of their resolve was just beginning. Earth's secret weapon. Deep beneath the surface of the American Midwest, a high-tech facility buzzed with energy. Rows of computers blinked with lights, and scientists hurried through the halls, their footsteps echoing in the sleek, metallic environment. This was the nerve center of Earth's defense, and its success depended on one brilliant scientist, Dr. Emily Carter. Emily was a woman in her 30s, with short brown hair and glasses that framed her intelligent green eyes. She had dedicated her life to finding solutions for humanity's challenges. Today, however, the pressure was higher than ever. With the threat of the Galactic Council looming, the weight of the world rested on her shoulders. Dr. Carter, we're ready for the test, called out Sergeant Mike Rivers, a tall and muscular man with a buzz cut and a serious expression. He stood beside a massive machine that looked like a cross between a giant shield and a piece of art. It was the Unity Shield, Earth's latest defense system, designed to protect against any alien attack. Emily took a deep breath, her heart pounding. "Let's do this. Activate the Unity Shield." Her voice was steady, but she could feel the excitement in the room. As she spoke, the room went silent, and all eyes turned to the massive display screen. With the press of a button, the Unity Shield sprang to life, glowing bright blue. The energy field rippled and shimmered, casting a warm light across the room. Gasps of awe and relief filled the air. "Impressive, isn't it?" Emily smiled, her confidence growing. "This shield can absorb and redirect energy from any incoming weaponry. We'll be safe from the Council's attacks." Mike nodded, his eyes wide with admiration. "It's amazing. But will it really work? What if the Council comes with something we haven't seen before?" Emily stepped closer to the display, her mind racing. "We've tested it against everything we have. I believe it will hold, but we must prepare for all possibilities. This isn't just a defense. It's a statement that we will not back down." Just then, Jack Taylor walked in, his presence commanding attention. He wore a confident smile, but held a serious demeanor. "How's it going, team?" he asked, looking between Emily and Mike. "We're ready to test the Unity Shield," Emily replied. "It's our best chance against the Council." Jack's expression turned serious. "We need to move quickly. The Council will not wait. We must show them we are united and prepared to fight." The tension in the room grew thicker as Jack spoke. Emily and Mike exchanged determined glances. They understood what was at stake. If they failed, Earth could be in grave danger. "We can't just sit here waiting for an attack," Mike said, a hint of urgency in his voice. "What if we take the fight to them? Show them we're not afraid." Jack nodded, considering Mike's suggestion. "That's risky, but it could send a message. They need to know we're not just a small planet they can push around." Emily interjected. "If we do this, we need to coordinate our forces. The Unity Shield can protect us, but we need to attack strategically. We have to catch them off guard." The trio spent the next few hours developing a plan, blending their skills and knowledge. They strategized, trained, and prepared, determined to show the Galactic Council that humanity was more than just a primitive species. They were ready to defend their planet and stand up for their place in the galaxy. As the sun set outside, casting an orange glow across the sky, the team felt a renewed sense of purpose. They were united, ready to fight for their future. Emily smiled at Jack and Mike. "Let's give them a show they won't forget." First encounter. The night sky was dark, dotted with stars as the Earth's defense fleet gathered in orbit. Hundreds of ships, both sleek and bulky, floated silently against the backdrop of space. Commander Jack Taylor stood on the bridge of the flagship, the U.S. Valor, gazing at the screen displaying a distant fleet of alien vessels. His heart raced with anticipation. "Commander, we're picking up unusual readings," reported Lieutenant Sarah Ortiz, a sharp-eyed officer with quick fingers. She pointed at the monitor, where blips of light indicated the approach of multiple ships. "They're coming in fast. Maintain formation. Prepare for possible engagement," Jack ordered, his voice steady despite the adrenaline surging through him. He turned to the crew, their faces illuminated by the glowing controls. "We knew this was coming. Remember, we have the Unity Shield to protect us." As the alien ships drew nearer, the tension in the air thickened. Jack felt a mix of excitement and fear. He knew the Council was no ordinary opponent. They were powerful and resourceful. The U.S. Valor was equipped with the latest technology, but would it be enough? "Contact the fleet," Jack commanded, his eyes narrowing. "Tell them to get ready for anything. If they fire, we must be ready to activate the shield." Moments later, the screen filled with images of the alien ships. They were unlike anything Jack had seen before. Sleek, with shimmering surfaces that reflected starlight like water. Suddenly, bright beams of energy shot towards the U.S. Valor. "Shields up," Jack yelled, his voice echoing through the bridge. The Unity shield activated with a brilliant flash, enveloping the ship in a protective bubble just as the energy beams hit. The ship shuddered, but the shield held strong. Jack felt a surge of relief mixed with determination. "They're coming in fast," Sarah shouted, her fingers flying over the controls. "We've got to fight back." "Return fire," Jack ordered, his voice resolute. "Show them we're not just sitting ducks." The U.S. Valor unleashed a barrage of laser fire, striking one of the alien ships. The enemy vessel exploded in a flash of light, and Jack couldn't help but smile. "That's it, keep pushing them back." But the aliens were relentless. More ships arrived, surrounding the U.S. Valor. The crew worked furiously, coordinating their attacks and monitoring the shield's energy levels. Jack could feel the pressure mounting. They were outnumbered. "Commander, we're taking heavy damage," reported Mike Rivers, who had joined the team on the bridge. His expression was tense as he looked at the readouts. "The shield is draining fast. Activate the backup generators," Jack ordered. "We need every ounce of power we can get." As the crew scrambled to respond, another wave of alien fire hit the ship, causing the lights to flicker. The tension was palpable. Jack's mind raced with strategies, but the odds were turning against them. "Jack, we need to retreat," Mike urged, his voice urgent. "We can't hold out like this." "No," Jack replied fiercely. "We stand and fight. If we retreat, we'll show them we're weak." In that moment, a burst of energy erupted from the alien fleet. Jack watched in horror as one of the enemy ships unleashed a massive weapon. But just before it struck, the Unity shield flared brightly, absorbing the impact. "Keep firing," Jack shouted, his heart pounding in his chest. "We can do this." As the battle raged on, a sense of unity and determination filled the crew. They fought not just for survival, but for their place in the galaxy. Each laser shot fired, and each tactical maneuver made, fueled by the belief that humanity would not be easily defeated. With every passing second, Jack knew they were on the brink of a defining moment. This first encounter would determine not just their fate, but the fate of Earth itself. A new alliance. The battle had raged for hours, but now the silence hung in the air like a heavy fog. The U.S. Valor had emerged battered but victorious, having fought off the initial wave of the alien fleet. Jack Taylor stood on the bridge, his brow furrowed in thought. The crew was exhausted, but there was no time to rest. The Galactic Council was still out there, and the threat loomed large. "Commander," Sarah Ortiz said, breaking the tense silence, "we've captured one of the enemy ships. We need to decide what to do with the pilot." Jack turned to Mike Rivers, who stood beside him, arms crossed. "We need information. If we can get her to talk, we might learn something about the Council's plans." With a firm nod, Jack replied, "Let's bring her aboard." Minutes later, the crew had brought the captured pilot onto the U.S. Valor. She was a striking figure, with vibrant green skin and sharp features that hinted at her alien heritage. Her wings were folded tightly against her back, and her bright yellow eyes glared defiantly at the crew. "State your name and purpose," Mike demanded, his military training kicking in. The alien pilot crossed her arms, a smirk playing on her lips. "My name is Sasha," she said coolly, "and I am not here to answer your questions. You humans are fools if you think you can challenge the Galactic Council." "Fools," Jack echoed, stepping forward. "We just defended ourselves from your attack. You should be the one scared." Sasha's eyes glinted with interest. "You fought well, but you still don't understand. The Council has power far beyond what you can imagine. Your kind is nothing but a small blip on the galactic radar." Jack studied her, realizing there was more to her than met the eye. "What if we could help each other? You know the Council's plans, don't you? We need that information." Sasha hesitated, her expression shifting from defiance to contemplation. "And why would I help you?" "Because if you don't," Mike said, "the Council will see you as a traitor. They won't show you mercy for your failure." Sasha's smirk faded, replaced by a look of concern. You think I'm safe here? They'll come for me. They won't stop until I'm dead. Jack stepped closer, lowering his voice. Then help us. Together, we might stand a chance. If we can unite, we can show the council we are not afraid. Sasha looked between the two men, weighing her options. And what's in it for me? She asked, a hint of vulnerability breaking through her bravado. Freedom, Jack replied firmly. Freedom for you and your people. A chance to break away from the council's control. Imagine a galaxy where we work together instead of fighting each other. The room was quiet as Sasha considered his words. Finally, she nodded slowly. All right. I will help you. But understand this. If you betray me or your own kind, I will not hesitate to turn against you. Jack smiled, relieved. We can work with that. Let's start with what you know about their plans. As Sasha began to share vital information about the council's strategies and weaknesses, the atmosphere shifted. What had started as a fierce battle was now evolving into a possible alliance. The crew listened intently, realizing that together they could achieve something remarkable. Sasha explained how the council operated, revealing secrets that could turn the tide in their favor. Jack felt a surge of hope. Perhaps humanity could carve out a place in the galaxy after all, one built not on fear but on unity. As they discussed tactics, laughter and camaraderie began to fill the room. Jack looked at Sasha, seeing her not just as an enemy, but as a potential ally. Together, they could challenge the Galactic Council and change the future for both Earth and the alien races. In that moment, they began to forge a bond that transcended their differences, laying the foundation for an unexpected alliance. The Galactic Council strikes. The stars twinkled brightly in the void of space, but the atmosphere on the U.S. Valor was anything but peaceful. Commander Jack Taylor paced the bridge, a mix of excitement and anxiety coursing through him. The alliance with Sasha had given them valuable intel about the Galactic Council, but time was running out. They knew the Council would not take their defeat lightly. Commander, we're detecting multiple ships approaching, Sarah Ortiz reported, her fingers dancing over the controls. The screen lit up with blips, and Jack felt a knot tighten in his stomach. Count them, he ordered. 10 ships, all heavily armed. They're heading straight for us. Sarah's voice was tense, but she kept her focus on the screens. Mike Rivers stood by, a serious look on his face. We need to prepare for battle. There's no way they're coming for a friendly chat. Jack nodded, rallying the crew. All right, everyone, you know your positions. We've trained for this moment. Let's show them what Earth can do. As the crew sprang into action, Sasha watched closely, her sharp eyes analyzing the situation. You humans fight with passion, she said, a hint of respect in her voice. But will it be enough? We have the Unity Shield, Jack replied confidently. It will protect us while we fight back. Just then, the ship rocked violently as the first wave of enemy fire struck the U.S. Valor. The lights flickered, and alarms blared throughout the ship. Jack gripped the control panel tightly, his heart racing. Shields holding at 70%. Sarah shouted, her eyes glued to the readouts. But we need to retaliate now. Return fire, Jack commanded, his voice rising above the chaos. Aim for their engines. Let's cripple their ability to chase us down. The U.S. Valor unleashed a barrage of lasers, lighting up the darkness of space. Bright beams shot out toward the approaching council ships. One ship was hit directly, spiraling away as it lost power. Jack felt a surge of triumph. But the council was relentless. They regrouped and launched another attack, this time targeting the Unity Shield's weak points. The U.S. Valor shook violently, and Jack could feel the strain on the ship. Shields down to 40%. Sarah cried out, her voice tight with urgency. We can't keep this up for long. Keep firing, Jack yelled, trying to maintain his composure. Sasha, what do you know about their tactics? We need an edge. Sasha quickly shared her knowledge. The council will try to flank you. They operate in formations that maximize their firepower. If you can break their line, you can gain the upper hand. Let's do it, Jack replied, a plan forming in his mind. Mike, can we adjust our course to lure them into a trap? Absolutely, Mike responded, adrenaline pumping. I'll pilot us to the left, and we can use the asteroid field to our advantage. As Jack coordinated the maneuver, the U.S. Valor shifted course, darting toward the asteroid field. The alien ships followed, eager to catch their prey. Now, Jack shouted, and the crew executed the plan. The U.S. Valor weaved through the asteroids, leading the Council ships into a chaotic dance. As the alien vessels tried to navigate the field, collisions began to happen. One by one, they slammed into the asteroids, taking themselves out of the fight. Keep pushing, Jack urged. Don't let up. With the Council's forces in disarray, the crew of the U.S. Valor seized the moment. They launched a final wave of fire, targeting the remaining ships. The explosions lit up space, and the crew erupted in cheers. Victory! Sarah shouted, a grin spreading across her face. But Jack's smile faded as he remembered the Council's relentless nature. This isn't over, he said, his voice firm. They will come again, stronger and more determined. We need to prepare for their next move. As the crew celebrated their hard-fought battle, the reality of their situation hung heavily in the air. They had won this encounter, but the Galactic Council would not rest until they had reclaimed their dominance. Together, Jack, Sasha, and the crew would have to find a way to turn the tide once and for all. Unity or destruction. The U.S. Valor drifted quietly in the aftermath of the battle, the remnants of the Galactic Council's fleet floating in the dark void of space. The crew took a moment to catch their breath, their hearts still racing from the adrenaline. But Jack Taylor knew that the fight was far from over. They had won a battle, but the war was just beginning. Commander, we've received a distress signal from the Council's remaining ships, Sarah Ortiz reported, her brow furrowed in concern. They're asking for a ceasefire to negotiate. Negotiate, Jack echoed, his mind racing. Do they think we'll fall for that? They just attacked us. Maybe they're trying to regroup, Mike Rivers suggested, his arms crossed. But it could be a trap. Sasha, who had been quietly observing, finally spoke up. If they are asking for a ceasefire, it may mean they're afraid. But be careful. The Council does not show mercy to weakness. Jack rubbed his chin, weighing the options. What if we use this opportunity to propose a different kind of alliance? We could show them that unity is more powerful than division. Are you sure that's wise? Mike asked, skepticism in his voice. They've already attacked us once. What makes you think they'll listen? Because we have something they don't, Jack replied confidently. We have each other. We can stand together as one, not just humans, but as allies from different worlds. They need to see that. The crew looked at one another, a mix of uncertainty and hope in their eyes. Jack took a deep breath, knowing he had to convince them. We can show the Council that cooperation is possible. If we unite, we can change the way they see us, and maybe even change the galaxy. Sasha nodded, her yellow eyes gleaming. I will stand with you, Commander, but be prepared. They may not take your offer lightly. With the decision made, Jack ordered Sarah to respond to the Council's distress signal. We agree to a ceasefire, but on one condition. We will meet to discuss peace, not war. If you come to us with the intention of negotiating, we will listen. As the message was sent, the crew waited anxiously. Moments felt like hours. Finally, the screen lit up with the image of Vornax, the Council's leader, his deep blue skin contrasting sharply with the dark background of space. Commander Taylor, Vornax began, his voice booming but laced with a hint of caution. You have surprised us with your victory. We did not expect such resilience from Earth. But know this, the Council will not be swayed easily. Then let's make it clear, Vornax, Jack replied, standing tall. We're not here to fight. We want to explore the possibility of unity, of collaboration. If we can find common ground, we can build a future that benefits us all. Vornax's expression shifted, revealing curiosity. Unity. You speak of things beyond your comprehension. The Council has ruled for centuries through power, not partnership. Perhaps it's time for a change, Jack countered. We have a chance to create a new path, one that does not rely on fear and destruction. The universe is vast. We can all coexist if we choose to. The tension in the room was palpable as the two leaders stared each other down, the fate of their peoples hanging in the balance. Finally, Vornax nodded slowly. You propose a bold vision, Commander. But know this, the Council will test your resolve. If you falter, we will not hesitate to destroy you. Jack's heart raced, but he held Vornax's gaze. We accept that challenge. If we fail, then we deserve what we get. But if we succeed, we can change the course of history. As the transmission ended, the crew erupted into a mix of cheers and anxious chatter. Jack felt a swell of hope. This was a moment of choice, a choice between unity and destruction. He knew the path ahead would be challenging, but together they could prove that cooperation was stronger than conflict. In the depths of space, a new chapter was beginning. The U.S. Valor was no longer just a ship. It was a symbol of hope, a beacon of what could be achieved through unity. And as they prepared for the next steps, Jack felt the weight of that responsibility and the promise of a brighter future. The new threat emerges. The days following the ceasefire were filled with a cautious optimism aboard the U.S. Valor. Commander Jack Taylor spent hours meeting with Sasha and the crew, brainstorming ways to prepare for their upcoming negotiations with the Galactic Council. They had hoped for peace, but Jack knew that trust was not easily earned. Commander, I've analyzed the Council's fleet, Sarah Ortiz said one afternoon, her eyes glued to the screen filled with data. They've been sending ships to the outer rim of the galaxy. It looks like they're gathering more forces. Jack furrowed his brow. More forces? For what purpose? I can't say for sure, but it doesn't look good, she replied. If they are planning something, we need to find out what it is before it's too late. Just then, Sasha entered the room, her wings tucked close to her body. I heard what Sarah said. The Council has never been known for keeping their word. We should be prepared for betrayal. Jack nodded, feeling a pit in his stomach. What do you suggest? Let's scout their movements, Sasha offered. I can help you navigate the Council's territory. With my knowledge of their tactics, we might discover their plans before they can strike. Agreed, Jack replied, a sense of urgency driving him. Let's assemble a small team and head out. We can't let them surprise us again. With that, Jack, Sasha, Mike Rivers, and a handful of crew members boarded a smaller scout ship, the U.S. Sentinel. As they launched into space, the vastness of the galaxy stretched before them, filled with both danger and potential. Stay sharp, Jack warned as they cruised toward the Council's territory. If they catch us, we could be in real trouble. As they approached the outer rim, the ship's sensors began picking up unusual readings. Sarah, manning the controls, frowned. I'm detecting a large concentration of energy signatures ahead. It looks like they're mobilizing a fleet. Let's get closer, Jack ordered, his heart racing. They flew cautiously, navigating through a field of asteroids for cover. As they crept closer, the U.S. Sentinel emerged from the asteroids, revealing a massive assembly of alien ships. Jack's eyes widened in disbelief. The Council was preparing a formidable armada, larger than anything they had seen before. There must be hundreds of them, Mike exclaimed, staring at the screen. What are they planning? Sasha's face was grim. They're gearing up for an attack, but not just against Earth. They may be planning to subjugate other worlds as well. This is about control, not just revenge. Jack felt a surge of anger. We can't let this happen. We have to warn the U.S. Valor and rally support from other planets. If they see what the Council is doing, they'll have to join us. As they turned to leave, an alarm blared through the ship. We've been detected, Sarah shouted, her fingers racing over the controls. "Brace for impact," Jack yelled as he quickly took the helm. But it was too late. Bright energy beams shot out from the Council's ships, striking the U.S. Sentinel with a fierce explosion. The ship rocked violently, and Jack struggled to keep control. "Damage report," he shouted. "Shields are down to 20%. Sarah replied, her voice tense. "We're taking heavy damage. We need to escape," Mike urged, looking out the window at the approaching enemy ships. Jack gritted his teeth. "We can't leave without warning the others. Hold on tight." He veered the ship away from the incoming fire, making a daring escape through the asteroid field. As they darted between the rocks, the enemy ships pursued them, their lasers lighting up the dark space. "We have to go faster," Sasha yelled, her eyes wide. "I'm giving it all we've got," Jack shouted back, pushing the engines to their limits. Just as they emerged from the asteroid field, they felt a jolt. The U.S. Sentinel shuddered as an enemy laser hit them from behind. "Activate the emergency warp drive," Jack commanded. "Now." With a final push, the ship leaped into hyperspace, leaving the Council fleet behind. They breathed a collective sigh of relief, but Jack's mind was already racing with the implications of what they had seen. The Council was preparing for a full-scale invasion. They needed allies, and they needed them fast. The fight for their future had just begun, and the stakes had never been higher. A united front. The U.S. Sentinel emerged from hyperspace, the crew still reeling from their narrow escape. The quiet hum of the engines filled the bridge as Commander Jack Taylor gripped the control panel, his mind racing with thoughts of their next move. They had seen the Council's might, and now they needed to act fast. "Commander, we're approaching the U.S. Valor," Sarah Ortiz reported, her eyes scanning the readings. "We need to relay the information we gathered about the Council's fleet." "Let's make sure we do it quickly," Jack replied, his voice firm. "We don't have much time before they decide to strike." As the U.S. Sentinel docked with the U.S. Valor, the crew quickly gathered in the main conference room. Jack stood at the head of the table, his expression serious. Sasha was beside him, her wings slightly unfurled as she prepared to share her insights. "Listen up, everyone," Jack began, looking around the room. "We've just returned from scouting the Council's outer rim. They are assembling a massive fleet, ready to launch an attack not just on Earth, but potentially on other planets as well." Gasps filled the room, and Mike Rivers slammed his fist on the table. "We can't let them take more worlds. We need to rally our allies." "Exactly," Jack said, nodding. "But we can't do this alone. We need to convince other races to join our cause. If we can present a united front, we might stand a chance." Sasha spoke up, her voice steady. "I can reach out to my contacts in the Zenari Coalition. They've had their own run-ins with the Council, and I believe they'll want to help us." "That's a good start," Jack replied, feeling a flicker of hope. "But we'll need more than just them. We should send messages to the planets that have been oppressed by the Council. If they see that we're willing to fight back, they might join us." As the crew began to strategize, they laid out a plan to send messages to various planets, urging them to unite against the Council. Jack assigned teams to different tasks, making sure they covered all bases. "Sarah, I need you to work on enhancing our communications," Jack instructed. "We need to get our message across before it's too late. Mike, gather a team to prepare defenses on the Valor. We need to be ready for any attacks." As the crew broke up to tackle their assignments, Sasha pulled Jack aside. "Are you sure about this? What if we fail? The Council is ruthless." Jack looked into her bright yellow eyes, searching for the right words. "If we don't try, we've already failed. We have to believe that there's strength in unity. If we fight for one another, we can make a difference." Sasha nodded, her determination solidifying. "You're right. I'll contact the Zenari Coalition and get them on board." As she left to make her calls, Jack felt a surge of responsibility wash over him. This was not just about Earth anymore. It was about fighting for freedom across the galaxy. They were standing on the edge of something monumental, and he couldn't shake the feeling that they were about to change the course of history. Hours passed as the crew worked diligently, sending out messages and preparing for their potential allies. Jack was at the helm, coordinating communications when Sasha returned, excitement shining in her eyes. "They're in," she exclaimed. "The Zenari Coalition is ready to help. They want to meet us at the Epsilon Theta system in 3 days. We'll plan our strategy there." "Great work, Sasha," Jack said, feeling hope swell within him. "We need to prepare a detailed plan of attack. This will be our chance to show the Council that we are united." As the crew continued to strategize, Jack felt the atmosphere shift. There was a sense of purpose and determination in the air. They were no longer just a crew on a ship. They were a coalition of different worlds standing together against a common enemy. In the days leading up to the meeting with the Zenari Coalition, Jack found strength in the crew's unity. Each member brought their unique skills and perspectives, creating a powerful force. They trained together, shared stories, and built trust. When the day of the meeting arrived, Jack stood at the helm of the U.S. Valor, looking out into the starry expanse. They were ready. The galaxy was watching, and for the first time, they felt they could truly make a stand against the Galactic Council. The fight for freedom and unity was about to begin, and Jack knew they would face whatever challenges lay ahead together. As the crew focused their fire, one by one, the remaining Council ships began to fall. Jack felt a sense of pride wash over him, knowing that they had fought against overwhelming odds and emerged victorious. As the last Council ship was destroyed, silence fell over the battlefield. The U.S. Valor and the Zenari fleet floated in the aftermath, the stars shining brightly above them. "Commander," Sarah said, her voice tinged with disbelief, "we actually did it." Jack turned to his crew, his heart swelling with gratitude. "We fought together. This victory is a testament to our unity." Sasha smiled, her wings fluttering with excitement. "This is just the beginning. Together, we can create a new future for our worlds." As the crew celebrated their hard-fought victory, Jack looked out into the stars, knowing that they had forged something special that day. A united front against tyranny. Together, they would continue to fight for peace and freedom, and the galaxy would remember this moment for generations to come.